Welcome back to BST, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another episode. So, the NBA Finals are set. The Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I wanted to cover what happened and how those teams got there. So let's just start out in the West. OKC versus Minnesota. OKC takes the series 4-1. Oklahoma City won the first two games, 114-88, and game two, 118-103. Minnesota bounced back in game three, 143-101, but OKC takes care of business in the next two, 128-126, then 124-1 or to 94. So most of these games were a blowout for OKC. We knew that would probably be the outcome. This OKC team is just a juggernaut. Truly one of the greatest teams ever. And in the series, it came down to the Thunder just being more consistent. Obviously, SGA was his normal self. 31-5-8 on 45, 34, and 90 shooting splits. So another great series. Been great all playoffs. He's the MVP of the league. You can say all you want. Oh, he's a free throw merchant, this, that, anything else. I've said that at times. I think I made a video saying that Jokic deserved the MVP, which I believe he did, and kind of discounting what SGA has done. But at this point, he's unbelievable. There's nothing we can really say anymore. Truly one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen. And honestly, he didn't really have great... It wasn't his best series. Game three, he struggled. I think he had like 14 points. So it could have been better. And this is already fantastic statistics. So, but I mean, with their team, he can have a little bit of an off night, but even his off night is still like 20. So it's just crazy. The roster they put together. Their sporting cast is great. Williams in this series averaged 22, 7, and 4 on 47, 43, and 72 splits. So 43% from three. Very, very good for Williams. He's been awesome. He's like the perfect number two for their team. Great defensively. Their whole team is great defensively. Holmgren, 18, 6, and 2 on 57, 48, 70 splits. So having one of your bigs shoot 48% from three is pretty remarkable. He's kind of like Wemby light a little bit. Like he's definitely not the defensive anchor that Wemby is, and is not as much of a athletic freak. But he's definitely a big who can stretch the floor and shoot pretty well for his size. Definitely, if Holmgren can put on some like functional strength, I mean he could be pretty scary in this league. He already is, but definitely could be better. Hartenstein, who they brought in this offseason from the Knicks, 7, 6, and 1 on 73%, 0 splits. So just getting a small amount of minutes and coming in and shooting 73% on the floor, that's pretty good. And Dort, 7, 3, and 0 on 41, 37, and 20 splits. So he's got good production from their supporting cast. And then when you have SGA scoring 31, you don't really need a whole ton of scoring, but I think the biggest component of the Thunder is they're so good defensively. Their defensive system is so good, and we'll get to how that will play into the NBA Finals later, but it's just insane. As much as like these offensive stats may not be as good looking or sexy or anything like that, it's just they contribute so well defensively, and they play so well together defensively. That's kind of their identity. So, on the opposite side of the ball, it was really, really inconsistent. When I was kind of doing my research into this, I noticed just crazy how like game in, game out, it was different players. Like it was the same guys, but like their game was so off. So Edwards, game 1, 18, game 2, 32, game 3, 30. So game 2 and game 3, great games, great performances. Then game 4 and 5, 16 and 19. So Edwards in game 1, 4, and 5 was pretty bad. I mean, it's decent production, but for his standards, and if Minnesota wanted to win the series, he would have had to been much better. Randall, this one's one of the crazier ones. Game 1, 28. Game 2, 6. Game 3, 24. Game 4, 5. Game 5, 24. So he had great performance, bad performance, great performance, bad performance, great performance. So it's like super inconsistent. And you need consistency if you want to go on a run. And it was just not there. And same thing with McDaniels. Game 1, 7. Game 2, 22. Game 3, 10. Game 4, 22. Game 5, 5. So he went bad game, good game, bad game, good game, bad game from the scoring perspective. Just insane. Same thing as Randall, and but opposite. So Randall in game 1 had good performance. McDaniels in game 1 had bad performance. So especially when you get those like offsetting, you can't even have like double good games ever. It's just complete inconsistency, and that was their downfall. Gobert, I mean, he's obviously not a scorer, and that's been evident his whole career. But in the regular season, he averaged nearly 11 rebounds per game. This series, 6.6. So the appeal with Gobert is he can rebound and he can defend the rim. And he got dominated on the rebounding side. 6.6 from your center is just not going to cut it in the playoffs. But I mean, even the Thunder didn't have like amazing rebounding. Chet had 6 rebounds per game this series, so it's like it wasn't amazing. But I think more so, Gobert does not contribute anything defensively or offensively. Sorry. So like you need him to pick up his game on defense if he's even worth putting out there on the floor, and he just wasn't. So that kind of brings me to like what do the T-Wolves do next, because this is the second straight year losing in the conference finals. Last year to the Mavericks, this year to OKC. And honestly, I think Gobert should be traded if you can. He's not a very I don't think there's any team out there saying, yeah, we want Gobert. Especially I think objectively the trade from the Jazz for Gobert was a bad one for the Timberwolves. Obviously, it got him to this point, but you cannot get past it. And I mean, Gobert offers great defensive production. He'll still be a good rim protector because he's tall. He's got long arms. But I don't think I think he's just so bad offensively. Because I mean, it's not like his vertical is not very good. He can't like finish a lob or anything. His work around the rim, he has no touch. There's just a lot of bad parts of his game that that need to get better, especially at the contract that he's being paid right now. So I think that's a priority for the T-Wolves, is try to trade Gobert, even if you get worse. I've said this in videos past, in like the hockey videos. You gotta try when you're consistently getting to a point. You gotta try and change something up so you can move past it. So I think that's what they need to do here. Move past Gobert. You got to this point. It's good. You got to the conference finals, but you need to try to change something up. And then also, I think, give Ant a primary ball handler, because as good as Ant is, I don't think he's a true playmaker. I think he's a little bit too careless at times. He's a good passer, but he's not like a great one. And right now on their roster, the only one that could kind of just play like straight point guard is Mike Conley, and he's getting up there in age. Definitely not the player he used to be. So I think if you can try to find somebody to be the primary ball handler on the team, Ant can play off the ball. I think he's much better in that role. I mean, he can have the ball and create, but I think doing that on a primary basis and on every possession is not the way to go, just because his playmaking is not quite there. His shooting is, and he can shot create and he can drive, but I think the playmaking aspect of his game is not as good. So I would look for those two things to happen this offseason for the Timberwolves if they want to make a run here and get past this stage with Anthony Edwards. But the Thunder, they move on. Like we said, they're moving on to the NBA Finals. Third appearance. They made it. Last time they made it was 2012 against the Heat. They lost in 5, I believe, in that one. and looking to win for the first time since 1979 when they were the Seattle Supersonics. So congratulations to the Thunder. We'll talk about them in a minute when we get to the finals preview. Next series that ended in the conference finals, Indiana beats the Knicks 4-2 in the series. Game 1 and Game 2, Indiana takes them. They were thrilling games, especially that Game 1. Indiana was down pretty big, came back. Halliburton hits that tying 2 that we thought was a 3, but did the choking celebration. Would have been pretty crazy if they lost that game. Probably would have been clowned for that, but they end up winning that one in overtime. Then Game 2, they win another thriller, 114-109. Game 3, the Knicks answer, 106-100. Game 4, Indy takes a 3-1 series lead, 130-121. I believe in that game, Halliburton had like 32, 12, and 15 or something with no turnovers. Just a crazy game. I mean, he's such a good playmaker. Knicks keep their season alive in Game 4, 111-94. Then in Game 5, Indiana closes it out. Or wait, no, sorry. Game 5 was that one. I have a typo here. And then Game 6, Indiana closes it out, 125-108. The MVP of this series was no doubt Pascal Siakam. Legacy series for him. I believe he was on the Raptors team when they won their championship with Kawhi. But I mean, I think he got traded here, and he's just been great for them as a secondary player. 25, 5, and 4 on 51, 38, and 67 splits in this series. Larry Bird Trophy winner, which is the Eastern Conference Final MVP. So phenomenal series from Siakam. Has been a great second option for him, like I said, to Halliburton. But their core played great as well. Halliburton 21, 6, and 11 on 43, 28, 81 splits. So his three-point shooting hasn't been great. Neither has his less regular shooting, but he's such a good playmaker. I don't know if I want to say the best in the league, but like honestly, Jokic probably is the best pure playmaker in the league, which is crazy to say, but it might be true. But Halliburton, probably the best playmaking guard, maybe Trae Young. So great from him. Turner, 13, 3, and 2 on 58, 36, and 61 splits. Nesmith, 14, 4, and 1 on 47, 53, and 92 splits. 53% from 3 is insane. Toppin, 9, 5, and 1 on 49, 20, and 100 splits. Nemhard, 10, 4, and 3 on 44, 36, and 67 splits. And Mathurin, he was inconsistent. The other 4 games, he had like single-digit points, but he had 2 20-point performances in Game 4 and 5. So definitely providing some scoring there, but he's going to have to be more consistent in the next round. As for the Knicks, Brunson played well, 31, 4, and 6 on 52, 41, and 87 splits. But honestly, their downfall was having the double big lineup with Cat and Robinson. It kind of just eliminated Cat's like offensive ability, because the whole point was the Pacers would put Turner on Cat because he was the primary big when they ran that lineup, and that would draw Turner out, allow for some driving to the net, or driving to the basket for like Brunson and all those other guys. So, but as soon as you put Robinson in there, you shuffle Cat to the 4. And then Turner's on Robinson. Robinson doesn't have the same offensive ability. So the Knicks, that sucked. And then, but also when you just have Cat out there, Cat is pretty unreliable defensively. Not a great defensive player. Good at rebounding, but not a great defensive player. So then you don't have good defense against Turner and players cutting to the basket. But then if you have Robinson at the 5, you lose the offensive Cat. So honestly, at every point, they were pretty much screwed. And then you can't have Cat at the 5 and draw out Turner, because then Robinson can't play the 4. So they were pretty much screwed no matter where they went with this lineup, and it really burned them in this series. And they don't they don't really play with chemistry like we've seen with the Pacers. They have such great chemistry, ball movement. It's just kind of like Cat and Brunson run the show. Brunson, go make a play. Cat, go make a play. That you need a full team effort and really good ball movement to move on, and that was just not the case. So Pacers move on to the NBA Finals. Second appearance. I think the last one was like 2001 or something like that. Around 2000. I'm not exactly sure when. And looking to win their first. So let's get to the NBA final matchup. OKC versus Indiana, like I said before. First off, I want to acknowledge that this officially marks the greatest rebuild of all time by the Thunder. Kind of insane. I mean, they've had success. With the Sonics, they had success. And in like the 2010s with Durant, Harden, and Westbrook, they had success. But now, like they have executed just a phenomenal rebuild. 2019, they traded Paul George for SGA and like 5 or 6 firsts. And they traded Westbrook for CP3 and a pick. So it's just insane. So SGA became their franchise cornerstone for Paul George, who now looks pretty bad. So what an insane trade there. And with all the picks they've collected, they've drafted Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Cason Wallace, who should have a bigger role in the coming years, and Nikola Topic, who they drafted last year and has been injured. That's a lottery pick right there. That's just not even playing for them. It's just insane. And they have another high pick this year. It's the greatest rebuild of all time, by far. It's the greatest one in the history of sports. They're going to be dominant for years. Like, I genuinely don't see how they don't win, like, at least 3 NBA championships. And it might start this year. But I think the number one matchup in this finals, or I guess the number one, like, thing to look at, is the Pacers offense versus the Thunder's defense. The Pacers are very good at ball security, very good at assists. Like I said, they move the ball well, and they are very good shooters. 11.9 turnovers per game. That is, I think it's like 6th total in the playoffs, but like it's like 0.6 difference between 6th and like 3rd. OKC is also good at defend or ball security, but that's the best among all the matchups that OKC has faced. And that's kind of OKC's bread and butter is defense. So that's big there. And their assists, 28.1 per game, is first in the playoffs. And their core is, like I said, great levels of all shooting. First in field goal percentage, first in three-point percentage. And I saw a graphic, and it's like they're pretty good at like each level of shooting. Like close to the basket, like 16 feet or whatever, and then like 3-point. They're everybody on their team is pretty good at all that. Of course, there's exceptions with like some of the bigs and stuff, but my primary point is they have a very good offense, and they work very well together. They have a lot of chemistry under Rick Carlisle. But like I said, OKC's defense, 17 turnovers per game this playoffs. That's first. So OKC swarms you. They play really good defense. They make you lose the ball, and they take advantage on offense. And opponents are last in field goal percentage and 4th worst in 3-point percentage against OKC. They have one of the greatest defenses of all time. They are super, 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 super good on defense. So I think that's going to be the matchup here. Can the Pacers overcome OKC's great defense? And I think it's already a given that OKC can score against the Pacers defense. The Pacers defense is not very good. Pacers have won their series by playing good offense. So it's going to have to happen again. It's going to have to happen. But if the Pacers can play to the level of offense they've been playing and just get like that extra step on defense, Pacers could definitely win this series. But it's going to be tough. Pacers are very heavy underdogs. OKC is a minus 700 to win the NBA Finals, which is an 87.5% implied probability. And that's most sport books have them around a minus 700. So that's not a great sign for the Pacers. And there's never been a larger win disparity in the finals. 18 win difference, never been a larger one in a finals matchup, which is I was dumbfounded when I found that out. But let's get to my prediction. I have Oklahoma City in 5. Um, I think I love the Pacers. I love this story, and I hope they can prove me wrong. Very similar to the NHL, the Stanley Cup Finals. I have the Panthers winning, but I hope the Oilers win. I just think OKC's too good. And I think it's very similar to last year's Mavericks. They go on a fun run, they have a superstar, then they meet just a better team, a juggernaut in the Celtics, and they get handled pretty easily. I don't I think there's just too many answers for OKC to go to if something gets shut down. I think the Pacers almost have to play a perfect game if they're going to win this series, and I think if they do, it's going to be in 7. Like I don't see they have to I don't see the Pacers winning in 5 or 6. They have to push it to 7 if they're going to have a chance. For the Thunder, I'd be shocked if it goes to 7. I think if it goes to 6, it's a win for the Pacers to win 2 games. I do not see it happening like that. The Pacers just it's a good story. I just don't think they have near the talent, the system that OKC has. So I think OKC in 5. But hopefully it's at least entertaining. Hopefully the games are at least close. That's all that matters. If OKC wins in 5, but the games are like a 5-point game at the end and there's some drama, I'll be interested. But if it's OKC in 5 and it's similar to the Timberwolves series, I'm not going to watch very much of it. But I think the Pacers provide the best matchup so far out of any team OKC has faced. In terms of matching their defense, which is like the identity of their team. But I don't see the Pacers shutting down SGA. Nobody has, nobody will. So Oklahoma City in 5 is my prediction. Thank you guys for getting us to 111 subscribers. It's greatly appreciated. And we'll continue to cover the playoffs as they go. I might do like a game-by-game thing as the series start for the NHL and the NBA. I believe they both start on like the 5th. So got a little ways to go before we get to watch those great matchups, but should be fun. So thank you guys so much. Go check out TikTok, YouTube Shorts for clips from all these videos. It's greatly appreciated. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.